Only radicals who support overthrowing the current system support an abolition of police. Regular people don't. And they need to voice their opinion, even at the risk of being drowned out by the hate mob. If your position is reasonable, you deserve to be heard by the elected officials. Welcome back to Andrew Says on Rebel News. Don't forget you can get more exclusive content by subscribing at rebelnewsplus.com. The bigotry of low expectations isn't new, but it has become a distinct feature of the followers of the Democrats, or in Canada, the New Democrat Party. The mob always knows best, or so they say. Any attempted dissent is met with swift repercussions, at the very least shouting down, but also often violence. But the mob almost always reaps what they sow when they get their way. We know this firsthand from the Chaz Zone. They experience what happens without emergency services. Murder and unnecessary death is what happens. But how can they ever be wrong? Even when they are wrong, no one is allowed to point it out. In Portland, Oregon, they've seen consistent lockdown rioting ever since George Floyd's death, which is somehow supposed to be connected. But watch what this Portland police officer says happens anytime he tries to discuss the issue.
A lot of times, someone of color, black, Hispanic, Asian, come up to the fence and directly want to talk to me. Hey, what do you think about George Floyd? What do you think about what happened about this? I go up to the fence, someone white comes up, F the police, don't talk to him. That was the most bizarre thing, because I could see it coming. I even had a young African-American girl tell me, why is it you guys aren't talking to us? I said, honestly, this is now the 23rd day of doing it. Every time I try to have a conversation with someone that looks like me, someone white comes up and blocks them and tells them not to talk. And then right when I said that, this white girl popped right in front of her. She said, he just said that was going to happen.
You can't talk to him. You might actually learn something. Journalist Ami Horowitz, however, has been doing great work recently. He asked white New Yorkers about abolishing the police and if they think it would be good for the black community to do so. What do you think happened?
How much better off would the black community be if we dismantled the police?
I think infinitely, honestly.
How much better off would the black community be if we separated the police from them?
How much better off would we all be?
I'd rather have something that doesn't work without them than what we currently have, which is something that doesn't work with them.
The police should go back to being, members of the community.
Abolish the police.
Absolutely.
It would help them infinitely. So wise. This isn't the first time Horowitz has been exposing this bigotry. His 2016 video helped show how voter registration is racist because minorities don't have internet access or don't know how to get ID or something.
Minority voters are less likely to have the kinds of IDs that have been described or required.
These type of people don't live in areas with easy access to DMVs or other places where they can get identification.
You can always get IDs you do over the internet. Does that also make it difficult for black people in particular?
Yeah, you have to have access to the internet. You have to be able to pay an internet service provider for certain fees.
Do you think that's harder for black people to go online?
Well, I feel like they don't have the knowledge of how it works.
So who actually supports defunding police? Ilhan Omar and AOC do, we know that, but most people do not. According to a poll by Morning Consult, only 28% of Americans support defunding the police. In fact, if you look across multiple polls, support for the idea has dropped by 15 points, down to 24% at this time last month. We cannot let the mob, or even Twitter, as crazy as that sounds, control public opinion and discourse. Corporations and politicians seem to have the hardest time seeing through their Twitter goggles, like a scratch ticket addict holding up the line at your local gas station. Who cares if I'm wrong again? This time, I might win. Then you'll all see. What has Justin Trudeau said about any of this? Pretty much nothing. I think you know why he doesn't want to comment on issues that involve race. Not very hard to figure that one out. But someone has to be the voice of reason against politicians who seem to just not care. Nancy Pelosi said it herself. She doesn't care about statues. She's surprised there aren't more uprisings in every city, she said.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country, and maybe there will be.
Only radicals who support overthrowing the current system support an abolition of police. Regular people don't. And they need to voice their opinion, even at the risk of being drowned out by the hate mob. If your position is reasonable, you deserve to be heard by the elected officials. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell and go to rebelnewsplus.com for more exclusive content.